Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. So it's just me once again for today's video because Celeste has been back at work because counselors go back early and she's been super busy. So I wanted to fill in the gaps while she is working on getting ready for the first day of school. So today's video is going to be me starting to figure out what do I want to do for the first day. I did get confirmation I am teaching 6th grade ELA for sure. I have gone to school obviously and set up my classroom, and I have met some of my coworkers. So it's been a very productive week. It is currently Friday, July 29th, and it is my last Friday before work officially starts next week. For my county pre-planning begins on the 5th of August, which is next Friday. So I wanted to use my last Friday to start to figure out what are some fun things that I can do for 6th graders who have never been to middle school before to make them feel invited and to have some fun before the year starts and we get into some of those pre-tests and start taking notes and all of that. I'm not sure, because it is middle school, if they need to get their lockers or do any paperwork that needs to be sent home or anything the first day. So I'm just going to plan the things I can control, and if I have to do lockers and all the other things that the school may require, then I will obviously work around that. But keep watching if you want to see me plan the first day of school. Okay, the first place I always start is Google Drive, which is obviously a great resource to use. I have a folder called Lesson Plans. It used to say my old school name and then Lesson Plans, but all of the things that I've created can pretty much be used for any school or any grade, since English is very similar across grade levels. And the only thing really that's different is the rigor. So I have them all saved still. I do have a folder right here. This is where we will be, called Introductions. And that's where I have a whole bunch of stuff. I haven't really fully looked through this, but this is all the things that I'll need for the first day or the first week of school. So we are going to look at some ideas that I can use for the first day. Before we get into some of my ideas, I wanted to show you what will be on the screen when they come into the room. So every day I have a different slide, which obviously they are not made, as you can see. This is just Google Slides, as you can see by the icon here. So every day the students know exactly what's going on as soon as they walk in. I will have this slideshow presented obviously in this mode on the screen, so they know exactly what to expect from the day. So as you can see, some of my ideas that I have for the first day is to first introduce myself. This is just like a 5-minute PowerPoint that I will show you in a minute. And then I have this kind of a game situation. It's called Who Would Win. It's kind of like Would You Rather, but I'll involve some movement based on what side they choose, and then some independent work, which is just a quick student survey. So these are my ideas, and it's clear for the students to see what we're doing, and also all of the things are linked. Things that are underlined are linked, so I can click and I can go. This is still being worked on, but this is what I usually start with. People are nervous the first day, it's quiet, and I do want them to get to know me a little bit. So I have not edited this too much, besides saying 6th grade instead of 8th grade and changing my name and a little bit of my information on the next slide. But I just want to quickly go through it with you so you see the kinds of things that I tell my students day one. So that's the intro slide. I'm a big Bitmoji user, and that kind of makes me more relevant, especially to 6th grade. So I try to include them as much as I can. You probably saw them on the agenda here that I was just going through. So this PowerPoint, that's just a welcome slide. And then I have a little bio about me, and I have a picture. I just updated that. I had to change some things because this said 3rd year. I just changed that to 4th year. I had to talk about how I moved and everything like that. Talk a little bit about expectations. I have not changed this. It looks very wordy to me, so I do want to figure out how I can get rid of some of these words, because it is the first day. I don't want to say too much. I want to get into the fun part. I go over what I just showed you guys. Every day you come in, you'll have instructions on the board, and then I will show them what that should look like. That is what is linked, the same thing that I showed you. So everything is linked on here as needed. Organization, I talked about how school supplies are set up in my room. I have things for them to borrow whenever we do kind of like artsy projects and stuff like that. and I tell them how to turn in their work. I have a bin for each class, etc., etc. Just go over how my classroom works. The things that are needed for my class, I'm not sure about the date. I just have the date there, but I need to figure out when we will actually start teaching content. And again, this is still a work in progress. Here's information about Remind 101. That is a way for me to text them, but without me seeing their number. It's just an easier way to be in contact with them and their parents. My last school, I used it every Friday, kind of went over what happened that week and then gave a preview about the next week. Homework, just a little slide about homework. Probably will be once a week, usually as some sort of practice and to prepare for something that is graded. Syllabus, I have not changed this slide at all. I believe in my new county we need to make our own syllabus, so I need to figure out what I want to put on mine still. This is something new that I actually looked up online and I saw the idea for it. So these kids are in 6th grade. They have a lot of transitions. Again, they went through a pandemic and they're new to middle school, so you can read the screen, but basically it's just a little box that will be on my desk. It's actually right behind my desk. So if anyone is ever struggling, having a bad day, whatever, they can write down their thoughts and put it in there, and then I can just kind of pray over them on my own, or I can check in with them the next day, whatever. It's just a way for them to write out their worries if they're comfortable. Of course, we have a great counselor and they will, of course, have their friends and family, but it's just a way for me to build up a comfortable space. And then the last slide, of course, because I always like to plug my teacher Instagram, that is my teacher Instagram, which is also linked in our description box below. And that is it for the PowerPoint. So seems like it's a lot of words and a lot of slides, but it's 11 slides, I believe. I think, yes, this is just any questions. So that's obviously a very quick slide. So all in all, this won't take longer than 5 minutes. Now for me to explain who would win. I wish this was an original idea, but I actually got this from a coworker at my old school named Nicole. She's one of my closest friends. And after she gave me access to her PowerPoint, I have now made like 7 different versions of this. So this is something I would use in my argumentative unit. Basically, it's a debate, kind of like a would you rather situation. Like I said, there's 2 things the students have to choose, and usually in the unit, I would have them argue, why did you choose what you chose? But because it's the first day, I think I will just have them go to the side of the room. So the left side will be number 1 and this will be number 2. I'll have numbers on my board next to the screen. So assume my TV is the screen. I would have everyone who is voting for number 1 on the left to go to the left side of the screen, and I would have everyone who wants option 2 on the right side of the screen, and then they can kind of see what people have the same interests as them. And it also is a good way for me to get to know them, and I plan on participating as well. So as you can see, this first one is shoes. Some of these are food, there's TV shows, there's movies. It's just like pop culture things that they can see that I actually know about. Again, I'm young. We talked about this in the Q&A. It's fun when we can talk about things that they're interested in, and they get so surprised and shocked that, oh, you know what that is? Yes, I know what Jordans are, and yes, I know what Air Forces are. So I'll just go through a few slides because this is pretty long, and I will add a lot because some classes might get through more, some classes might get through less. They might want to talk about it. So I'm going to make this very long. So we've got shoes. We've got food, burgers versus chicken sandwich, which I am personally a burger fan. Fruit punch versus iced tea. I definitely love iced tea more. Has to be sweet though. Apple Watch versus AirPods. They love technology stuff. I do not have either, but I can guarantee my students will probably have both. Zaxby's versus Chick-fil-A. It's the battle of the chicken places. I am definitely a Zaxby's girl. Please don't be mad at me. Halo versus Assassin's Creed. I try to do some video game stuff even if I don't really play too much. Takis versus Hot Cheetos. More shoes. TV shows. Goldfish versus Cheez-Its, and it goes on and goes on. So again, I'm making this PowerPoint longer because I'd rather have too many slides than not enough and have extra time at the end of class. So that is who would win. So as I said, we can pretend my TV is the screen in my classroom. So I'm not 100% sure, so you guys can comment down below some ideas, but I would love some ideas about how the students can stand in groups. So I do want to have a 1 written on the board because we have the screen in the middle of the board, so there's room on the whiteboard to the left and to the right. So I want to have a 1 written on the board on the left side and a 2 on the right side. So if they choose the right side option, obviously, then they'll go to the right. If they choose the left side option, they'll go to the left. But I'm not sure if that's too many people clustered together, you know, with COVID, or I'm just not sure. So let me know if you have any better ideas. So the last thing I've planned so far is student survey. So I plan to actually end with that. So that way class starts with me talking only. And then we have the fun who would win situation where we're all talking and moving around, and then we end with independent work, which of course this is not a hard survey. So I think that is a good combination of all the different, I guess, teaching styles and teaching methods. So again, give me suggestions for improvement if you can. So on this survey, I actually got rid of a whole lot of questions because it really wasn't necessary to have a super long survey. This is something I can save and file in my file cabinet because I am actually keeping my file cabinets. So I can look at these throughout the year and just get kind of reminded of what are some of the extracurricular things that they're into, and that's a good way to connect with the kids. So I have really only 6 questions. So the first one, what makes a teacher great in your opinion? That's very helpful to see what kids say about that. And then I have, if you could have lunch with a famous person, who would it be and why? I think that's very helpful to see like what kind of things they're into and what they're interested in. The next one asks about extracurricular activities. The next one is tell me about your summer. What did you like about it? And then this question is very important. Which kind of learner are you? So there's different types of learners, but I try to keep it simple. Just leave it up to these 3. So there's visual learners who need to see things, there's auditory learners who need to hear things, and then kinesthetic learners who are very hands-on, they need to use their hands. So it's interesting to see what they say. A lot of people who are in middle school, I've noticed a lot of the students are visual, therefore I do a lot of things with photos and drawing and stuff like that. The last question is kind of bonus, but I do want to make a classroom playlist, so I would love to get suggestions. The only thing with that is, of course, they might put things that aren't school appropriate, but that just means I won't play it, and that can be the consequence. The second page of it is favorites. So favorite food, favorite brand, favorite celebrity, drink, store, dessert, musical artist, TV show, or movie. Something I have learned about my school, though, is that we do not make our own copies. We basically have to give the master copy to the administrators or instructional coach, and they make the copies. Sometimes that can take days. So this is something that is not necessary that they have to have on paper. So if there's a way you guys can think of me making this into a presentation, a PowerPoint, a video, whatever, please let me know, because I'm not quite sure I can get the copies that I expected, nor do I want to use my own personal ink just for a survey. So once I start teaching, I will get used to making things more digital, especially for students who stay home or quarantine or anything like that. But right now, I'm still trying to figure out how can I make these things that I'm used to printing, how can I make them online? Now I'll just show you a few extras, because all 3 years that I've had a first day of school, I've done slightly different things. So this is something I used last year, but I don't want to do so many things that are independent because I want to get to know them. So this is another version of a survey. It's what's trending with you. This is cool because it's pop culture based. So what are some books that are popular that you like? What are some pop culture things like social media platforms, celebrities, favorite movies, music, and then sports and games. So that's just a fun, more visual way to do a survey. Once again, I'm not sure about the printing situation, but this is another idea. This is the black and white version. But This is another idea that could be used, so let me know if you like this one better than the one that I created. Another thing that we do is a letter to your future self. Last year, I did this and I handed it back to them on the last week of school, so it was very effective, and it was funny seeing them surprised and shocked about the things they had written down. So this is a fun thing too. I don't think I would do that day one because that's a lot of writing and I don't really want to do a lot of writing on day one, but I could maybe do that later on in the week since school starts on a Monday. Another quick thing to note is I have two of the same PowerPoint because the one I showed you is just called First Day of School Welcome. That's the one I will use. This one is the Meet the Teacher version, which I have not changed at all because it has my old last name and everything like that. So I have a Meet the Teacher version. So when we have open house and we meet our students, I can make this play on a loop and the slides will change on their own every 10 seconds or whatever I set it to be. And this has only, as you can see, 5 slides, and not including the title slide, and it's just quick facts. It's the supplies needed because a lot of students go shopping after they meet their teacher. It has the Remind 101 information. This is all outdated. That's my old course. Instagram, and then people who were in my homeroom at my last school, it was called Blue Class. So I have the same PowerPoint twice because for Meet the Teacher, it's good to have something going on your screen. So while kids are in line waiting to meet you, because there's always a long line of chaos, they can look at this, they can take pictures of the slides that they need, like the Instagram one or the Remind 101 slide. So I wanted to show you, that is why I have 2. It is helpful to have something on your screen for Meet the Teacher. That will be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions, please comment them down below. I would love to see feedback. So as you can see, I already basically have it planned with my PowerPoint about me first, and then the kind of fun movement activity second, and then the student survey last. But those are just ideas. We still have a few weeks until school starts, so I would love to hear feedback from you guys about what you think works and how the flow can all work together. So I did show you some extras with the letter to future self and that other survey that was more of a printable one that I found online and downloaded. So please let me know if you think those might be better. I would love to hear your feedback, so that way the first day of 6th grade for these kids can be really fun for them. So just let me know, comment down below, share, subscribe, and like the video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye guys.